I'm Margaret and Windsor. Kidnapped in 41 at age 2. Brought over here to this country to Moulton, Alabama. Given another name of a dead girl, a twin. The other twin was murdered too. Okay. I'm not going to go into all that I've put up here over the years. 5 videos a day out there, people who have scanned over, for God's sakes, or the media's who I'm aiming this at. There are some people the last, let's say, year who have taken interest in, I think that at least they're concerned. I'm not going to say any more. What I really aim at is that all the people over all these years that I've told in Atlanta in 76 and before, with proof of what's going on about the mind control murders and then about me and my kidnapping, who my father is, and that's one of the reasons they're not going to tell any of this. The Illuminati took him down, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and Bilderbergers, and the beautiful Kennedys. Did I say Kennedys? Obviously, I'm not feeling that top of the world this morning. I haven't been able to ever, probably, except when my children were born, and you took care of that. Somehow it's been fun to a lot of people to do this to me. Like JFK Jr. came up on the mountain when I'm freezing and starving. And so obviously he and George Magazine and his little cousin Lee Radwell, his aunt, knew all about it, have always. My question is, if he's such a brave soul and he was so glad they did it to me, why didn't he publish it in George Magazine? He had his own magazine. So why am I getting on here this morning? Jens Orings is a German diplomat. Well, his father, I think, is deceased. His mother died, I believe. Both of them are probably dead, so he's been in prison here. At first, I've forgotten the one here, but then in Buckingham State Prison. I say this, and I'm scared to death. I really am. I've had so much done to me, and I realize that people just want it shut up. Killing me and doing things to me is not going to stop it. Anymore, it is so absurd. I'm going to finish this, I hope, and I know that I'm making it and people hear it and they know it's true. That's the problem, but hey. I'm just going to stop. Now that I've lost my train of thought here. I was sent out on a temp when I ran in that congressional race in Atlanta to replace Larry McDonald when he was supposed to be on that KAL that was shot down by the Russians. Veered 10 miles in the airspace, and all the people went down on it. Except he wasn't on it, I've been told. A lot of people think that. And Nixon was on there too, and they took him off just prior to takeoff to South Korea from Juneau, Alaska. So that's what allowed me to get in the campaign. Mr. Flint, who had been shot by a program shooter, had me out there twice in October and supported me and did an endorsement in April of '84. Saying I knew who was responsible for his shooting in Atlanta, and it was a nice endorsement. And it was for the presidency, and most people would get a ha-ha out of this. I don't think they know what's really going on, and some people have told me they're going to live it. Them and their kids, they know it's true, but they're going to go as long as they can and live the good life. Now then, I want to get back to Jens Orings. They put him up here today, and there's a thing going on where when Jens Orings was sent back to Germany, to, quote, finish his term in prison for a crime he didn't commit here in the United States. How does that frost you? So it was kind of like you have to know what's going on. And I've put it up, but that's a lot of videos. If he went home, I'm supposed to go. Or I go and then he goes. Well, you know darn well. I'm not going to say that because they can do things too. So I'm not going to go and say that. God help me. I hope it's all told. And I hope Julian Assange, and I hope I don't hurt him by saying this, I hope that things are told and this man who has been so honest and has gone through so much hell, I hope there's a special place up there for him in heaven, if God has his heaven and everything. And oh, don't come down on me, everybody, suddenly if. I hope there's a special spot for him. Now then, if I'm babbling here to some people, I'm not talking about the people on here that I try to get on there and answer some of the comments, and it's getting where I can't do that much anymore. Anyway, back to Jens Orings. He didn't commit the crimes. I went through a temp agency when I was in the campaign, was sent out to where, at the school he was at, Lovett or Lovell, I get the two names confused because one of them, there's a Lovett or Lovell out here that some things got involved in. Anyway, I went out to the school, and Jens was coming in on a plane, and another guy, Chad. Oh yeah, how the name Chad gets in all this. Yeah. Anyway, later when I'm up in Grottoes and I still have the Larry Flint car, Hustler car, that's when the murders happened. Jens and Elizabeth Haysom, she's Canadian citizen. Her father was a, Canada's, but her father was, I'm not sure, I think he was from the UK. Mother was American, I think, Nancy Haysom. Point is, they didn't kill her parents. These were decent, really nice kids in college at the University of Virginia up here, Charlottesville. God, what all has gone on at Charlottesville. If the press was made to print it, and here we go, somebody would want me out of the picture and to shut up. That's where Anastasia was killed, May of '84. When I'm driving the car furnished by Hustler through there from LA back to Grottoes, Virginia, where I'm going to pump gas, and I was glad to have a place to be and put the car, which I couldn't afford the gas I was pumping to put in it. How's that, a brand new car? So, anyway, back to this, the reason I'm upset. I come back from having some coffee down the hall and a little bit of breakfast, and I met with, they've got Jens Orings, who spent his life, he's losing a little bit of his hair, I've lost all of mine, but it makes me so upset. This is a very intelligent man. I don't think he even knows anything about me. I went to his attorney here way back then and I'm walking doing this and trying to find money to Xerox. I went to his attorney here twice and handed things over, and they said they knew, but they couldn't do anything about it. The one attorney who represented him, well, he had two, but one was from out of state. I think he's from Michigan. And he made some comment, and I put this up. I still do have the newspaper clippings from way back then. Anyway, he took his case on, and he knew there would be repercussions for it. You have to edit everything you say, or... Anyway, his attorney that did represent him over there, I've forgotten his name now, he ended up They sent the Internal Revenue after him, agency. So here's where people say, well, I better stay away from this, not get involved in that. Okay. I'm going to refer people to the last president, and it's about Trump and the Tesla files that I wrote about in '76 and ongoing all this now. I don't know what's about to happen. If it would, all this culminates in the end times, is what it does. The chipping that, and then people, they talk about law like they still read the Constitution and all this. Last night I was listening to it, and I think back what they said, and I'm not sure they didn't do that for a reason. I'm not sure they might, in a roundabout way on Coast to Coast. I better not say anything, get them in trouble, and they're trying to tell about some of the things I am. So here I go. Let me just cut to the chase here. Everyone knew that Jens and Elizabeth were innocent. It doesn't matter that they confessed. They totally were innocent. There was mind control used in it and patterns. Definitely they didn't do it. And everybody has known it. The judge, and here I go into the Judge Sweeney, I think he's dead, he knew it. And the other one, the prosecuting attorney, this is where it gets tough, because they have relatives all around here. Updike. I had nothing against Updike, but they all knew this. I mean, the citizens around here and everything knew that he was innocent. But here we get into, well, he's a German diplomat's son. He's a German. Or she's Canadian. So they're like, people will, when I tell about my kidnapping, it doesn't matter, my mom was from here, who she was and all this, a lot of people take offense at me because I was kidnapped, and that's exactly what they do. How dare me tell them about my kidnapping and about taking my father down, Edward VIII, never married Wallace Simpson. The pain and suffering smeared a double. It allowed the Illuminati to come in there and set up camp all over the UK. Then they went into the Netherlands, and that's where, if they, I don't know if some of my relatives weren't hostage in this. Some of them really tried to help me. I know that a long time ago. They still be. And some of the my immediate family over there now, excluding Elizabeth and Philip. And most of them are high up in the Illuminati that kidnapped me and took down my mom and dad, and therefore all this military that's underground over in the UK allowed it to be overwhelmed, and to the Illuminati to go into Denmark, Netherlands. That's where the war tribunal is, and that's where Henry Kissinger is, the Watergate tapes, the Jew of the Watergate tapes. That money and power was his ultimate aphrodisiac. He was telling that to Diana when she was doing charity with her gowns and flaunting it right up here in D.C. They darn well know about me. They always have. They just don't talk about me. And nobody forces their little... And somebody get mad at me for saying, you said ass? Oh, that's a good word for it. That doesn't even touch the words that should be used. Words don't even count, really. They're descriptive, but they need locked up and pay for their crimes. And the older they get, only God can do it, because they're up there like me, We all, better not say anything. Now then, where was I going? Because this started because I got upset about Jens. It showed a picture of him, and he's been fighting for his life. And you don't hear that much about Nancy. Oh, for goodness sake. Going blank. I'm sitting over here. I know better. I'm going to show you this. That shields me from the heating unit over there, and I'm not going to go any further about that. I got over here, and now I got to scoot back over here. I can't take it. I start skipping here. Now Now, where was I? Derek and Nancy Haysom and Jens, well, for goodness sake, Elizabeth Haysom. Beautiful girl. These were nice kids. And I'm going to say this because this was one of the places a few years ago I thought sure I was going to get to go home or this was going to be told. And it wasn't. The woman that took over as manager there was, well, she's from Radford, where this young girl, I don't know, I'm not going to say anything else about her. I don't know if that was mind control used in her stabbing death. It was almost similar to the girl from England and in Italy a few years back. But I brought that in and I shouldn't have because I don't know. But anyway, she was just from there, this woman was, too. And she was manager, came in and took over as manager. And I remember her saying something to me. I went down to Valley View, I think, and she took me. No, I went to the urgent care or something there is what happened, I think. She took me, and when we passed something that said, maybe I shouldn't even be telling this, there was something Updike, the Commonwealth, you see where I'm going with this, gets even higher to people that are ex-governors here, and you wonder if there's any good or if they're bad. I didn't do anything to them, or what's going to happen in all this, you know. Got about 4, at least, ex-governors that sit way up judiciary and intelligence committees from Virginia. So anyway, this woman said to me when we went by they own a funeral service and all this Updikes do. Oh God, I better not put this up. Other than he was the attorney, Commonwealth attorney that prosecuted Jens Zorns over in Bedford next door. And went by that sign that said Updike funeral, you know. And she looked and she said, can't remember what she said. She said something about you're lucky it wasn't you or something. And she was pointing or looking at the, you see where I'm going with this?